back. It's No Pitch Talk with Tessy, the show where we say it the way it is. And right now we are looking at domestic violence among Nigerian women. In the house with me this morning, I have Dr. Angela. That is what I call her. She's a pastor and a doctor as well. She's a life coach, a preacher, a counselor, motivator, facilitator, auditor, lecturer, school proprietress, consultant, addict, and seasoned manager. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's so good to have you on the show. All right, I want you to do a proper introduction of yourself, in case I didn't get it right.
You're right. My name is Dr. Angela Ohakosin. I am, by the grace of God, the convener for Female Ministers Network International. I'm a woman of God, and I do a lot of things. Like you mentioned, I'm a life coach, I'm a lecturer, I'm a consultant, and by the grace of God, I have a school of my own. I'm a proprietress of a school, Divine Endowment, nursery, primary, and high school.
You're doing advert for the
Wow,
school.
thank you.
You're doing advert. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now, this morning, I want us to look at domestic violence among Nigerian women. This is something that is so common. It's happening everywhere. I want us to look at it from the women perspective this morning. Our women are dying. Our women are being injured. Children they're being demoralized because what they see transpire among their children. But at least before we tackle domestic violence among women, we need to know what is the causes. What do you think could be the causes of domestic violence among the women, among Nigerian women? It happens everywhere in the world, I know it. But here in Nigeria is our own focus because we are Nigerians. Let's tidy our home before we go to other people's home. Our home is not yet tidy. So what do you think? What would be the reason? And we're looking at the physical aspect where a man gets to beat the woman. What do you think could be the causes of this as a life coach?
There are a lot of causes to this effect. You know, a lot of people get married, and when they assume the marriage proper, after the ceremony or the celebration, they get into the home front and they begin to observe that the man or the woman that they actually felt was their mate, like they knew, you know, from onset that this person is my husband or would be my husband or my wife, someone I can settle down with. By the time they get into the marriage proper, they begin to discover some attitudes that are uncalled for. So, and you know, when that discrepancy sets in, it will become a very critical issue. You know, when you have two partners that are not in good terms, or maybe they don't have understanding over situations, then they will begin to have issues, and one of the spouse may want to opt out from that relationship. As a matter of fact, within a short while, you can, you know, start seeing a lot of things that are uncalled for in that marriage, which can lead to domestic violence. Yes.
But you know, I used to advise people. I used to tell people that this thing, it can be avoided. Do you believe it can be avoided?
Of course, it can.
It can be avoided.
There are a number of things to put in place before you settle down with a man or a woman. Okay, let me take, for instance, let's look at the female folk here. A woman that wants to settle down and is of marriageable age and is believing God or looking up to God for a man to settle down with. First and foremost, what you should look at for is a man that has the criteria. The first criteria I feel should be looked at is the issue of, you know, having a God-fearing
fear of God.
The fear of God, and
That's
not by titles. You know, some people who may want to marry pastors. They say they want to marry pastors, they want to marry evangelists, those in the fivefold ministry. They want to marry a firebrand Christian, someone in the church setting that is vibrant, you know, microphone. And when you look at those features out there, it's not the real thing that should be looked at when you want to settle down with your man. So what I want to say here practically is that if you have a relationship with a man or with a young man that you feel this person fits into your criteria, you should also look at the area of someone that has a fear of God. Aside the fear of God, someone that is loving, someone that has love and affection for you, that can go extra miles for you as an individual. If you have that person, you are good to go. Then someone can prove loving physically and within. So that is why I said a God-fearing man is it cannot be far-fetched. It's something that you notice, you see it in the life of that person, not by vain words, but in action. You would have monitored that person, you would have courted with that person for some time, so that by so doing you will now be able to spell out what this person stands for and what it doesn't stand for. A man that doesn't have vision of where he's going to is not good to settle down with. Many a times you feel the man will adjust, and at the end of it all, he's unable to adjust because that is who he is. You can't pretend for too long. That is why it is actually good to have courtship before you go into that relationship of yours that will lead to marriage. You need to court that person, you need to court that young man, you need to court that young woman, and at the long run, if you find out that person is okay for you, it may not be up to 100%, while you're assessing it, but at least much more than 50%. I'll put it to 70% is a good mark to forge ahead into that marriage, because most times, the relationship, once it gets, keeps building up, people can adjust within some time. I feel so.
And again, another way I feel people can avoid it is because at times, no matter how hard you try, you can go into a relationship with a man for about 7 years without knowing his full character until you start living with him. So I believe a woman who is experiencing such, the temper of the man you have. Whenever he says a word, just look at him, don't say anything. But men, they hate it when a woman challenges them. They hate it when they are being challenged. When you stand up to your man and tell your man and start using harsh words on your man, pointing your fingers on him, holding his shirt, holding him by his collar and telling him, you will kill me today. You will kill me today. That is a typical Nigerian woman. You will kill me today, you will kill me today. Then the man will be forced to beat you. I like looking at it from this side and this side.
Right.
I believe women, we need to take a chill pill when it comes to our marriages. This men, but there are some men, even without you doing anything, they come home drunk and they beat you up. I would never advise a woman to still stay in that kind of marriage. And do you know the mistake when a woman makes? When you are being beaten and you refuse to speak up. When your people ask you, what is wrong with you? Oh, I fell there. Oh, I slipped my foot and I hit my face on a wall.
A whole lot of lies.
A whole lot of lies. With that, we can control domestic violence. But I believe it can still be controlled in this part of the world.
Yes.
If the women learn to respect their husband, and if the women learn to respect their men, and the men learn to respect the women, and any woman that is experiencing domestic violence as we speak, they need to speak up. They should not cover it, because you can end up losing your life. Even it affects the child as well. All right, Dr. Angela, before we go, I want you to advise all the people out there experiencing domestic violence, especially the women.
My suggestions, or rather advice, to women who have this challenge is that they should walk up, like you said rightly, they should walk up to some organizations that are into human rights that can afford to help to mitigate this violence in the homes. And also, such women can go for marriage counselors, or in this case, we are not looking at the women food only. We're also looking at the men. Both parties, they are, to that extent that they know that they can no longer live together, they can quietly or calmly resolve that they will divorce. You understand?
It's not a do or die affair.
Yes, it's not a do or die affair
in the marriage.
So there are a lot of people who knew for themselves that this marriage is not compatible enough and that they need to just separate. Separation is not a bad idea for such scenario. Then also I want to suggest that women who are very, very GT. You know, there are some women who don't have a say, they are timid. Such women, when they get married, they will be unable to, you know, to get what they actually needed for that marriage, because they will not be able to express themselves, like you said rightly. I want to say here categorically that all women, as much as possible, should be able to get, you know, themselves built up. I'm talking about capacity building. Build yourself for your marriage.
Yeah.
You know, get to read books, get to watch some films or movies that can help strengthen your capacity to be able to meet up to the marriage setting.
All right, thank you very much.
And you need to learn your partner too. If you don't have anything to do, why not study that man or talk to him? Have a quiet time. There are sometimes his head is, you know, that calm. You can talk to him one-on-one and see how best you can, you know, get all these issues resolved.
Thank you very much, Dr. Angela. My name is Tessy, and this is how we end it today. Please, if you're experiencing domestic violence, be you a man or a woman, please speak up. Speak up and shout for help. Do not hide it. That is when you start the greatest mistake in your life. If you start hiding that you are being abused, please come out, speak up, and seek for help. You will definitely get help. My name is Tessy Adeyemi. This is Weekend. Have a lovely weekend. Till I come your way again next week. Inshallah, by God's grace. It's a bye-bye.
Bye.